is in police custody was found processing ordinary maize seeds valued at over 13 million shillings and packaging them as products of Kenya's seed company. Seed dressing machines and chemicals, among other items, were nabbed during the raid. Ken Gashuhi with that report.
Businessman Stephen Gicharu is tonight a guest of the state after he was nabbed by detectives from the DCI who were acting on intelligence reports from residents. Gicharu was allegedly found processing fake maize seeds directly from his store and packaging them as the hybrid variety of H6213 under the Kenya Seed Company branding.
Na walipata 101 kg ya treated maize, which means ilikuwa tayari ikitoka iuziwe wakulima wetu. Alafu wakapata undressing seed machine, wakapata ngunia 18 ambazo zilikuwa untreated, mahindi ambayo ilikuwa inangojea tu kuwekwa ndawa na kupakiwa iuzwe.
The suspect had registered his premises as a timber business, but inside the detectives recovered this homemade seed dressing machine, chemicals, over 37,000 Kenya Seed Company packaging materials, and 6,600 fake KEFIS certification stickers.
Mwenye hii kazi ambaye ni Counterfeit, anaitwa Stephen Gicharu. Biashara hii, mahindi hii yote umeona hapa na packaging hiyo, angeiuza angepata 13 million Kenya shilling.
From a distance, one would easily confuse the counterfeit seeds with the originals, but the fake KEFIS certification stickers betrayed the illicit business.
The collect packet ya Kenya Seed Company na sticker ndiyo hii. So mkulima akinunua hizi mbegu kutoka kwa duka lolote Kenya mzima, ukiskilach hapa utaona ya kwamba hii nini ya juu inatoka na inakupatia namba. Hii namba ukituma kwa namba ile Kelsey wanatumia, itakuonyesha hii mahindi ni ya Kenya Seed na ilitengenezwa lini na expiry date yake ni lini.
Simon Maina, director at KEFIS, says that farmers would have suffered heavy losses if the seeds made their way to the market.
30,000 packets, we are talking about 60,000 kilos of seed. Divided by 10, that is 6,000 acres of land planted with fake seed. You see the implication on that. So if this is replicated in other places, it will cause a lot of damage. And that is why we need to be very keen to ensure farmers get the right seed.
The government has heightened monitoring of seeds outlets to read the market of counterfeit products during this planting season. Ken Gashuhi, KTN News.
Thank you, Ken Gashui, for that report. But now we go straight to Spice FM, where former Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter is there speaking about the Kenya Kwanza government before and after they formed the government. Let's cross over and follow that conversation live.
President Moi, and then the current period under President William Ruto and his cabinet secretaries and what they did, ministers at that time, cabinet secretaries now. What was it that was done that you can say, well, okay, if I compare the two, then this lot, as you've said, then is what did you use?
I didn't see them. I didn't see Moi going to what were you calling? This not launching.
Groundbreaking.
A project 5 times. Moi, even if I were to compare what we have in Rift Valley. Just to compare what we have in Rift Valley, what Moi brought to our community, which has changed the lives of many Kenyans, including Ugandans and Rwandese and Burundians and Ethiopians. Moi Referral Hospital. That was a presidency of Moi. Moi University, President Moi. Moi International Airport, President Moi. Kapsabet Boys High School, President Moi. Kapsabet Girls High School, President Moi. Teriga High School, President Moi. My own Olesos Technical Institute, which is the biggest in Kenya in terms of infrastructure and everything. It is actually to be meant to be a national polytechnic. It qualifies in it has over 10,000 students. It is amazing. I will take a long time to explain. If you compare what Kibaki did, Kibaki is the reason he created all these institutions. Like now what you have as KERA, he classified roads. And that is the reason why roads, we've moved. We are better off than most of our neighboring countries in terms of the road infrastructure. When you see Thika Highway and the many other roads, we are opened up. at least there is a tarmac in every county. It gets to every county. We used to have roads in a small section of this republic. Electricity used to be for the rich. I grew up in the rural setup where it was meant for member of parliament and some managing director.
And you?
And they used to use one transformer. In the whole community, one transformer. And you have you cannot even apply, you cannot even imagine. When you imagine, it was a treason. What I'm saying, Kibaki transformed this country. Free primary education. And that is why the same electors who are heckling them and booing them are informed. They know what you said in your manifesto, which you are not implementing as you promised. They spoke about our mothers when they give birth. Within the first 3 months or so, the diapers were free. The sanitary towels were free for gas. Is that happening? No. The gas was to be what? They said free gas. Then they said a free mutungi. They amended it. But all those things are fake promises. You know, this is the only time where you find a whole presidency lying on live TV, including going against contradicting the offices which are created by in the constitution, like KRA. KRA comes up with this information that we are collecting badly, we are doing badly. He says, no, I know, not the KRA. Many occasions, even when you are on live, when you are hosting him, I remember when we was being interrogated by many journalists, the last he did address the nation, he was being asked a question like, Ndungu is telling us that the economy is not doing well. No one asked Ndungu, ask me. Really? That is a cabinet secretary in charge of treasury. And you're saying you know better than the cabinet secretary in charge of treasury? Let me explain even this myth called the housing, which is because it is a constitutional provision, which is a right to housing, they are addressing it. There is right to life and property. What is happening in Baringo now as we speak? Thousands of families have moved 50 kilometers away. There are children who have been denied the right to live because they were killed. Others have been denied the right to education because they've moved. They don't have schools. Yep. The right to food, all the rights. And you know, that's a small section of Kenya. If you mean well about this housing, why don't you address that? And you see, these people did not come from the moon, as they claim. Like we found empty coffers. These people, the deputy president, the president was a deputy president in the previous regime. He knew the challenges that we are having. And you see, when you come here to tell us that you are trying to really help us, you are part of that regime where you used to tell us National Youth Service is doing some programs in slum upgrading to clean up our cities. What was it intended as a what? A scandal. And I spoke about it. It was going to be a scandal. They defended it that time, including his entire cabinet ministers. Let me not mention their names because they're about the entire cabinet. But I just want to say, these are the people who defended the ills of the previous regime. And now, they are claiming they are not part of that regime. But when they see a good thing, which happened that time, like last mile, where Uhuru helped to connect electricity all over, they are part of it. When they see anything, they are launching programs. They're going to launch Uhuru's projects all over. Roads, completion of many things, even technical institutes. You know why even Kenyans are tired? Because they are not launching anything new. They are either doing groundbreaking for something that has been groundbroken 5 times. I don't know why these grounds are hard, that it must take a whole president 3 times or 4 times to re-break it for it to happen. You see, it is ridiculous. Those things that are happening like that is making the president lose the respect that he deserves as an office.
So what should happen? What would you recommend that happen?
I would recommend whatever you promise, stick to it. You had a manifesto. You believed in bringing the lives of our people from the approach you called bottom-up, which I have told you. I can demonstrate. It cannot work. I'm a very good student of economics. It is impossible. Even from the fuel. You know, fuel, in first world countries, the one I've mentioned, and I want city, try to go to Norway because you want to see. Just go to Oslo, Norway, and leave your phone. If you lose, I'll buy you 4 phones.
Bus.
iPhone 15. But let me get back to because we have to save time. What I'm saying, stick to what you promised.
Stick to what you promised. Now the issue then is accountability, and you're saying, I mean,
and again,
we don't even have somebody who's checking.
We should have Parliament to act as an independent constitution as per the provisions of the Constitution.
How can we make parliamentarians?
The members
do
of
the job?
parliament, the Wananchi themselves, they must elect people who are independent in thinking.
Okay, we elected them.
But we elect them.
And we thought that they're independent in thinking.
Then we find out that they're not.
Then we find that that a lunch.
Then, as you said,
and
they
a
went to
car.
Malaysia.
But there are recall,
But
provisions.
you know what you did with the recall clause.
Yeah. It was messed up in parliament.
Yes.
Yeah, they were trying to protect themselves.
So now,
but I just want to say,
now as Kenyans, you and I now are equal, right? We are uko inje. We are the hustler proper. What can we do to make sure that those that we've put in offices of responsibility do their job, from members of parliament to the presidency?
what we should do is what I'm doing now to advocacy. At the same time, those common wananchi, they have no platform. I know they've been doing a good job, like telling them, reminding them in rallies that you didn't come to do anything here. You are groundbreaking a road that it was groundbroken 3 times. This is the 4th time. Let them know that you have issues. That is important. But to the leadership, the president should dissolve his entire cabinet to come up with a fresh, if he wants to help this country. But as things I've seen, the way even at some stage the media were raising issues of concern about one of the CSS, and the president defended. I know him. You might think he looks like he's a strong person that he can stand against his word. But when on a closer look, he fears those cabinet secretaries.
Well, he's the one who appointed them.
But he appointed them.
He fears for some reason we don't know. You know, they have come a long way. There are many things they have done together that he like, can I really offend you? At the expense of the country. Let me tell you, how did they exist in the first place? Why are they sitting there? Including those who went to sit as permanent secretaries. You know, there is something that I did not mention. That's part of the biggest failure of this government.
Yes.
Out of the 52, almost 30 are not career civil servants. You know, that's a reserve for career civil servants. People who have grown through the ranks so that you understand a ministry. You know, you're actually the accountant of a ministry. If a ministry, accounting officer of any ministry, because you understand the nitty-gritties and everything, the challenges, the cartels who are in the ministry and everything. Yeah. So you can address better. But a stranger, a former politician who ran and lost an election, you make them because you want to like compensate or to reward him or to permanent secretary position, which is a public service. It's a public service sector. Even the PSS.
So
it should come from the public service
experience.
Yeah,
in the civil service.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making here. Can you just take your time? It is in public domain. Read the 52, and there are clauses on public service where you must have to represent all communities. Let me explain what I have noticed with the current permanent secretaries. The Kisii community makes a good number of this country. They sit in 2 counties and they're in Nairobi, Nakuru, wherever. The Kisii community, I'm talking about the Kisii community. But they are not in, there is none as permanent secretary. Out of 52, imagine. A whole community.
I have to ask this, because when we look at, and one of the things that you said at the beginning of this was that, the position of, the leader of the opposition, and we know the areas around which such a position would require one to act or behave. What do you think could, because I think it's easy at some level to be able to point fingers and say, look, this is going wrong, this is going wrong. Well, it's easy to do, no matter how aggrieved one would feel. But here, in the position of the leader of opposition, certain accountability measures that you hold an executive to, right? What would you do? What kind of agitation do you think is required? Or what do you think you would institute to then be able to say, look, we're going to hold these guys up to account. We're going to keep them on their toes. We're going to make sure that they're doing what they said they would do and what they ought to do in a position of leadership. What would that be?
We do many things. Like we do rallies and explain to the Wananchi because they are our bosses. They bring a lot of hostility, they will reason. Politicians want to be re-elected. Bring a lot of hostility, they will come back to their senses. Number 2, use the courts. Like this housing levy, I'm one of the people. I've seen, they are saying about 15 or so. I'm going to court, and many others will go, because there are many articles of the Constitution which they have breached. It is unconstitutional. The entire
So use the courts.
We have used the courts, and I want to urge the courts to remain independent. And that is one of the reasons that I've raised about Parliament. We have many other independent institutions, including even some offices which are protected by law. You know, the commissions are protected by the law, and 2 other offices, independent offices, the Auditor General and the Controller of Budget. They're all protected by law, and all of them have been raising concern. Every 4 months, Controller of Budget tables a report in Parliament, which should be interrogated, and they don't interrogate. That's another issue. It should be taken to court to say, these are some of the issues which are raised by Controller of Budget. Some are raised after every 1 year, within 6 months after the lapse of a financial year. The Auditor General is mandated and obligated by law to audit and report back, either to anything concerning a county to the county assemblies, and the rest to the National Assembly and Parliament. But they are raising many issues. I've already told you. They have raised one last week. Or when? It is this week. On matters of land grabbing, which is happening in our institutions. We are losing land over 50 billion. It's a reality. What should we do? Let Parliament do their role and the mandate. And if they continue this way, I will lead 1 million people to come to town of CBD of Nairobi to explain to them. That is the only language they understand. We do a 1 million march, a peaceful demonstration for them to understand. Without heckling anyone, we stop everything, stand still. And I will do that if that is what it
so
will.
Basically, you're saying if those that we have delegated our authority to do not exercise it well, we take it back.
We take it back. That is Article 1 of our Constitution. The sovereignty is us. We delegate to them. If you have failed,
we take it.
We take it.
Many comments on social media. Some people are agreeing with you, and somebody saying, Eric, I'm at the scene now, and what Kateri is saying is true. Nothing has been done, I think, in terms of those roads. Groundbreaking by 3 government officials. The road is from Kyogong, Sigor, Chebunyo.
Yeah, that's what the road I said.
To Dikir.
Yeah, and that is where they were echoed. You know, this booing does not come from the moon. I saw the cabinet secretary in charge of security raising concern. Why are you booing, disrespecting the president? It's true, I don't like it. But address the genesis. It's like someone, you are there.
But do you think, when people are booing and heckling like that, have they said exactly what their grievances are?
They have raised it. You see, when you go there, you already know. And you think they don't know. They will show in a way. Because you already know. Eric, if I was coming to Spice FM or KTN today, and then I come and sit here over something, and we agree. From today onwards, I'm painting this room. Then after a month, I'm coming again. And you see, and what they don't know, and I want to explain this, the contractors even speak to the common wananchi. They are telling them, because they are like, you know, the common wananchi are smart. I've told you they've gone to school. They are smart. On average, we have so many people who have gone to school, even graduates, architects, which this regime spoke about them. There are mamambogas who have a degree. Many. There are borders who are architects, lawyers. You understand? So some